Hi and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's success case study interview with Matt Sharwood of Advise Accountants. Now Matt is quite a character. I've known Matt for a couple of years now, and Matt is a firm based in Bathurst, New South Wales, and today we're going to have a chat, not quite a fireside chat with the current temperatures, but a chat with Matt about his journey over the last couple of years and how he has more than tripled the value of his new client engagement. So these sorts of things don't happen overnight. So thank you for joining us today for this. Feel free to type your questions in because we're going to have a question and answer session at the end. Now, Matt, how are you?
I'm very well, MC. Yourself?
I am fantastic, but I'm getting better. So if you just click your video button. G'day. Thanks for setting aside the time today, Matt.
Not a problem.
Now, let's just start with, can you remember how we first crossed paths and how you came across Paradox?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember how long ago I was MC. It may have been 3 or 4 years ago, but it was at a Mind Shop conference, and you beamed in via a webinar talking about your marketing machine. And obviously my ears pricked and I thought, gee whiz, this is a good opportunity to develop some marketing for our own practice. I mean, I've come through the numbers game, been an accountant for 26 years, I guess, and I knew nothing about marketing. And when I saw your process through the hopper, etc., I thought, wow, this is a great opportunity for our firm.
So when you say your hopper and your process, what piqued your interest with our approach to marketing compared to what you'd been exposed to previously?
Mate, you gave us a process, MC, and we didn't have a process. We were higgledy-pickledy and didn't know who we were marketing to and all that sort of stuff. So that was the best thing about it.
Okay, so that structure and process around what often is quite an unstructured and mysterious area of marketing. A lot of shonky operators in the marketing field too, dare I say, as a marketer. Now, Matt, just let everyone know the background of Advise in terms of a little bit more about where you are, types of clients you serve, size of firm.
Yeah, sure. So there's 7 people that work full-time in our practice. We do a little bit of outsourcing to Odyssey in Vietnam for some of our super fund work. We've been going now for, as Advise, probably 3 years now. Before that, we're called Complete Business Partners. And as you know, yourself and Bianca helped us rebrand our business from Complete Business Partners to Advise Accountants as we stand today. It was a very strategic move because we wanted to be known as advisors, not as accountants.
Right, okay. Well, let's talk to that now. The other day, Matt, when you said to me, MC, accountants are dead in the water. And I thought, there's a soundbite, some controversy there. What do you mean by that? In your view, what are you seeing happening?
If you're just going to do accounting work for clients, bring them in and say, this is what your financials are, this is your tax bill, and don't give them any advice, they're not going to want to come and see you. And it's quite interesting, MC. We built in Spotlight Reporting our own management reporting system that we use every quarter. And what I'm finding, particularly now, is we go for the report, that takes 5 minutes, and then the next 55 minutes we spend on marketing, strategy, and everything else that matters. And I was giving you an example, MC, where I was talking to a gym yesterday, and the membership had stalled, and we wanted to build our membership up by another 30%. So we went back, spoke about Facebook. You know, you're doing the same generic ads. Obviously, you're not getting the message out there that you want. We need to pivot that. Now, if you spoke to me 5 years ago about giving that sort of advice, I would have fallen off my chair. So it's a seismic shift in what we're doing in our accounting firm.
And in my view, I think if an accountant and business advisor, and we know there's lots of different types of accountants, so we're talking about accountants who do business advisory or want to do more of that. I think if you're not digitally savvy on what are the lead indicators that matter for a modern day business, you can't really have any meaningful, exciting conversations with your clients, can you?
Definitely not. Definitely not. It's all about.
So let's wind the clock. Oh, sorry, Matt, a bit of a lag there.
It's all about what's happening in the future, not what's happened in the past. Now, I hate to say it, I see too many accountants as really glorified bookkeepers just reporting what's happened, not really reporting where things are heading, because I think that's much more important.
Yeah. Well, let's recount then. When you first came to us, I remember you had certain frustrations with where your business was at and the sort of work. What was the challenge that when you came to Paradox, you thought, this is what I need to solve? This is my current frustration.
There's a couple of them, MC. The first one was marketing, how we get out to the people that we wanted to market to and how we sort of make them interested in us. And an interesting side issue out of all that was our services weren't really tightly aligned to anything or to any customer for that matter. So we were very, very loose in what we were offering. So the big mindset change was, let's do some marketing what we do. And then we found out we did all these different things that were unrelated, some were related, and we were just a little bit too higgledy-piggledy. So we wanted to sort of tighten our service offering. And that really came out of the marketing function.
Right, okay. And in terms of where you're at in terms of clients, I remember when we first started talking, you wanted to break out of that compliance box where, like many firms, you were predominantly at that point doing compliance-based work with an average fee back then of what sort of average annual fee?
Yeah, around about $4,000, I reckon, MC, back then.
Okay, cool. And that was for doing what sort of services, just to give everyone an idea?
That was pretty much compliance services. And I think back on it now, I reckon we were chucking in some advisory services at no cost and not putting any value on that. So I think we were giving away a lot of our fees for nothing, or a lot of our potential fees at no cost.
Right, okay. So you had the skills because you've invested a lot in education around how to do advisory, how to actually deliver. But with advisory work, one of my favourite mantras is, well, you never get to deliver what you never learn to sell, and marketing obviously being upstream from selling it. So now what happens now differently when you speak to a prospective client compared to how those meetings used to go compared to now? What's the difference?
Totally different.
That structure.
Totally different. And it all comes back to that ways you work with you, Dorrigan, that we developed together. Getting on the same page, understanding the numbers, getting numbers right, business improvement and family wealth creation. So we tailored all of our services around each of those 5 boxes. And then when we talked to the customer, it was a logical flow, getting on the same page was doing a little one-page business plan, where we are now, where we want to head and how we're going to get there. Also included budgeting. And then we spoke about getting the numbers right, Xero, Receipt Bank, Deputy, all the automation tools that we can find so we can get the numbers quicker. And then we worked on understanding the numbers. So we used Spotlight to develop our own reporting system. We paid Spotlight to do that for us, which was fantastic. And I can talk more about that later if we get time. And obviously business improvement was looking at our marketing function, our story or strategy, cost savings, whatever. And it all came around about building wealth for the family. So it was a logical step. And it sort of flowed off the tongue that I could sell it very easily. And that grew the fees from an average of 4 up to probably about $12,000 now.
Beautiful.
Because it's all slightly aligned to the big picture.
I remember, Matt, when this started to, when you rolled this out, and to explain to everyone what we're looking at here, internally we call this sort of service infographic ways we work with you. And this is the antithesis of a menu of services. So the menu of services advice that's been given by coaches over the years, we think personally, it's flawed. It doesn't help in your marketing. It doesn't help in your selling. Usually a menu of services is too granular. It's full of jargon. I've seen ones with subheadings in it like compliance and then a whole bunch of dot points, and then another one, accounting, and a whole bunch of dot points. And the average SME owner out there is going, well, what's the difference between tax and accounting and compliance anyway? So they're rubbish. So with this approach, we basically facilitated the design of this by asking you, if you could wave your magic wand, what is the customer journey, so to speak, or what are the stepping stones that you would take someone through? So we didn't just have some sort of template and go, yeah, follow this. This basically came out of your mind, but we helped structure and solidify and present it.
Correct. It was really interesting. So I'm not sure if you remember, this diagram was only 5. Remember, we had about 12 boxes at one point. So it was very easy to overcomplicate it.
Yeah. I love one of my favourite sayings is genius is the ability to reduce the complicated to the simple. And another one is any idiot can create a complex system. So it's really difficult to distill things down and to get things simple. I remember when we had it about a dozen So, by the way, guys, everyone listening into this, when Matt and I were collaborating on this service infographic to explain visually, simply and powerfully what is it that the firm can actually help someone achieve, what will they do, we had web meetings. So we collaborated using a real-time tool called Lucid Chart, Lucid, which I love for diagramming. And I've still got the file of the first brain dump, and then the second version that you went in and did on your own, and then the third version that had about 12 things in it. And I remember at the end of that, Matt, you said, that's it, we've nailed it, MC. That's it, that is what we do. And I said, great, we're going to sleep on that separately, and we're going to come back and simplify that. We've got to simplify that, and we did, didn't we, in the following week? And it came to this.
I think I've been using this now for about it might be 2 years now, MC, and I reckon the next version of it, which I'm sort of half working, will be simpler again. And the reason that will be is because I've been testing it in the market and getting people's feedback. So, I think it'll be tweaked a little bit.
Yeah, good.
As I try to take ourselves out of the box of being an accounting firm and more of a coaching firm. I am getting a little bit sick of that word advisory, because people think they put a report in Spotlight or whatever, and then all of a sudden they're presenting the same numbers a little bit more prettier, but they're not doing any advisory work around it. So I think advisory is a very loosely used term at times.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And, within this context, when you're talking to a prospective client, or even re-educating an existing client that you may have been working with, and this is out to everyone, one of the things that's really important to be able to do is to what's called reframe. And a reframe in neurolinguistics, which is the area of psychology, is to break preconceptions about pigeonholes that people might have you in. And if you bring on a client as an accounting firm and you just do their quarterly, annual compliance, I'm sorry, but the concrete has set on a pigeonhole where they've got you pegged as, you just do my tax, you just help me comply. And you might even find, disappointingly, occasionally, that people have signed up for other coaching and other advice from other people, and you think, I could have given you that advice. Problem is, you need to reframe it. So in this diagram here, Matt, I love when you explain to me that you can say to someone, look, getting the numbers right is really important. And that's your cloud-based accounting with Xero. It's making sure your bookkeeping's done accurately and consistently so that your data's up to date. And we can give you all sorts of cool apps to make that efficient. But frankly, there are many accountants that could do that. And if that's all you want, we're probably not right for you. And then you went upstream and explained getting on the same page, which basically, as you mentioned earlier, it's a one-page planning process. And you add a lot of value in that right up front, but you're pre-selling about how important it is for the business owner to step back and actually say, where are you now? Where do you want to go? Whereas previously, even though you had those tools to deliver, you were, as I think you said earlier, pretty much giving that stuff away.
Yeah. There's a really good tool that you use, one of the masterclasses, might have been 2 masterclasses ago, that feature benefit tool.
Yeah.
And then what you can do, you can actually use that tool and apply that to each of the 5 topics I've got there, so you can really hone in what the benefits are for the customer. And that's why that menu of services doesn't work, because what's in it for the customer?
They're just features, aren't they? They're not benefits.
That's right. You've got to sell the benefits, not the features.
And you've got a full story and conversation under each one of those 5 elements, and it's just a conversational thing that's easy now. And I think one of the other benefits you found is this gives you a structure, some breadcrumbs to follow in a meeting with a prospective client, whereas in the past, you told me, Matt, that the conversation in the past was quite unstructured, and the content of a conversation with a new client would be different from one meeting to the next based on what they just happened to ask. You had no process you were following. Correct.
And obviously that's changed dramatically now, particularly if you're using Infusionsoft, which is another story I can go on to at some point.
Yeah, we'll ask about some of those tech things with the marketing automation as well. So for everyone listening in, whether you're live with us now or you're watching this on video later, Matt's mentioned a few things. So Matt's been to how many masterclasses now with us? Is it 2 or 3?
Oh, I thought it'd be more than that. It could be 4.
Okay. So Matt, from memory, you've been to masterclasses we've done. One was about how to scale business advisory so that you're not just exacerbating the bottlenecks that already exist in the highest level of the firm. You also came along to our blogging for accountants masterclass. And you're coming along to the next one as well, that is in Monday week, in 2 Mondays' time in Brisbane. And that one's on how to have a one-page plan for your marketing for next year. So in terms of
for that.
So, you're a serial masterclass attendee. Why do you keep coming back?
I can't wait to get that one-page plan, because we do a lot of one-page plan for our customers now on the now where how type process, but I want a one-page plan for our marketing process. So what I'm learning for my business, I'm learning for my clients as well. So I actually want to roll that out to each of my clients next year once I master it myself.
Fantastic. And that masterclass, by the way, Matt and everyone, will be officially announcing to everyone there our Modern Marketing Implementer platform, which Matt, you and a couple of other people have had early access to. And it's based on the same structure as the one-page plan. So it's going to give you a tool as a business advisor to support your business clients around building an effective business model and marketing plan. And for those of you, sometimes there's a concept in NLP called premature closure. And I like to say that nothing premature is ever good. But premature closure is when people make up their mind really quickly. Now, if you're hearing that phrase one-page plan, you think, I know what a one-page plan is. The one-page plan that we're covering in Masterclass, I invented it. It's not based on things like, out of Vern Harnish or Mindshop. These are all valid one-page plans, but they're sort of management overall. This is about a marketing machine, about how you go from strategy to presence to publish to attract, convert, automate, nurture, invite, sell, and onboard. There's 10 elements to it. Each is a link in a chain. And if you get that right, you get a steady stream of inbound inquiries. That's just a quick insight for everyone about what type of one-page plan. And at Masterclass, we're not just going to say, oh, here's a one-page plan, go fill it out. It'll be exercises. We're going to be doing exercises in every section, and it'll be a bit of fun as well. We'll get people to share the elevator pitches. We'll get them to share what their strategy is in a sentence. If you can't define your strategy in a sentence, you don't have a strategy. So you'll come out of Masterclass with a lot of clarity. But Matt,
I call that the elevator speech, MC. When you're stuck in the elevator and someone asks you, what do you do? And you've got 30 seconds to say it.
Well, for those who've been to some of our early Masterclasses, we've got a fun session, Pitch It To Me, Baby. So we're going to have a little competition. We'll be critiquing people's elevator pitches. Because if you can do that, when people ask you, what do you do? If you can say something that engages them, then there's conversation. I've got a great way to kill a conversation. If someone asks you, what do you do? Say, I'm an accountant. Bam, premature closure, straight into that pigeonhole. They've moved on, then they'll ask you something else. So we'll cover that as just one of a number of topics. Now, Matt, I think a phrase that would have intrigued a lot of people when we promoted this webinar this week is the reference that we've made to when we were talking on the phone. You said, MC, we're growing and we're not even trying. Now, I know accountants are pretty skeptical, pretty pragmatic. I think people's BS radar would have gone, what is that about? So tell us, what did you mean by that? What was happening for you at that point?
The referral work was unbelievable, MC, because they're not seeing me as an accountant anymore. They're seeing me as the business coach. I mean, one guy even calls me his life coach, for goodness sake. So because we just don't do accounting work. It's a small part of it. We're good strategists, advisors, etc., that just happen to be good at numbers. So, I don't push the accounting side of it, and that's what's happened. And we've grown a lot organically as well because we've got tight with our services, MC. So a lot of our clients' fees have grown from $4,000 to $10,000 to $12,000 just by offering better services to these customers.
And to clarify for everyone, you do bookkeeping, you do accounting, but as we show in that the 7 layers of value that an accounting firm can deliver, the real-time data and compliance are just the first couple of rungs on the ladder. And it's almost just a detail. Like, of course you do that. And everyone needs to, move into clarity and commentary and accountability, which is exactly what you're doing.
And I might just add to that, MC, we don't use timesheets for productivity and that type of stuff. We use timesheets for job costing, and hopefully next 2 quarters we'll probably even move away from that. What we try and do, though, we try and use metrics. So if it's a $12,000 client, we might say, well, you got 4 hours each quarter to get all the reports and accounting done. So we've got the rest of the time to spend on advisory work.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
So our focus is on advisory work, and that's why we're trying to automate as best we can. We're pretty lucky in the office. We have an awesome girl called Debbie who's a zero guru, and she's going to be running seminars next year, getting our clients in at free of charge just to make them better on zero. Because the less work we have to spend on getting their stuff right, the more time we can spend on advisory stuff.
And how things have changed in that bookkeeping space over the last decade. I remember the usual approach that many accounting firms took on bookkeeping used to be, we just can't recover the time. So they'd say, look, you need a bookkeeper. And I saw two models in that, well, three. One model didn't work, which was look after your own bookkeeping, in which case, you get the proverbial shoebox in. Those days are gone. Or people would have trusted relationships with a bookkeeper or two that they would work with, or sometimes I'd see firms spin off their own bookkeeping because it's so damn efficient now with, feeds coming in, etc., and, rules and automation. We're seeing more and more firms bring it in-house. So you've got that control. It's actually the data's good because you guys are ensuring its quality. But you're not having to burn hours and hours and hours of labour doing it, are you?
Correct. But you've got to build really good systems around it so the clients follow your rules. Otherwise, it can go a little bit haywire.
Exactly. And new clients are a blank canvas. It's a great opportunity to say, here's how we work. Here's what we'll do for you, but here's your commitment to us as well. That's another topic for today. So today we're just touching on a number of, or just a handful of the frameworks that at Paradox we give firms to help them market, sell, and deliver their value-add services. So one of the other things too, just back to the fact that your average engagement was 4,000 or so when you were just doing compliance, and now it's up around 12,000. The other thing that I love here is, and hand on heart, why we do what we do is because what you guys do as business advisors utterly changes lives when you get a chance to do it. When you actually get to help these business owners that are busy as the proverbial blue-ass fly. For those not in Australia, that's a saying. You can really change lives, but not until you're doing a high percentage of this type of work with your clients. And one of the things that you mentioned is, MC, they're signing up for our full range of services, paying us triple, and they're thanking us. And they're saying things like, I've been looking for an accountant like you for years.
There's a big reason for that too, I reckon, MC. I reckon clients often are very lonely in business and they don't have a really good sounding board. And, sometimes what's that saying? You can't see the trees for the forest. And I think when they come and sit with us where they get a bit of clarity and it's in a different environment and we sit down, we just nut it out. We give them a bit of confidence and a bit of clarity of where they're heading. Exactly.
So you're a true leader. You're helping them clarify their direction and you're helping them go in that direction, which is really exciting. So you're making more money, but you're having more fun, basically.
Yeah, definitely. If I was still doing accounting work, number crunching, balance sheets, P&Ls, I wouldn't be in the industry anymore. But the coaching aspect, I just love it. And
that's one of the most rewarding things for us to hear at Paradox. Our phrases like, I've got my passion again for what I do, or reignited my whole drive for being an accountant and business advisor. It's pretty frustrating if people are stuck in the number crunching side of things. But 9 out of 10 accounting firms still are doing mainly compliance and non-value adding work in terms of it's all reporting on the past. So until they learn to communicate the value, until you learn to market and sell your advisory services, sadly you'll remain a commodity.
And you do need to change your mindset, MC. Like I'm talking to you in our strategy room. So behind me is a massive big whiteboard wall. The wall in front of me is a big blackboard, and then we've got a library of a heap of business books in here. And our clients can come and take those books whenever they like. They want to come and read something.
Beautiful. So again, like I've interviewed in recent weeks, Steph Hines from GrowthWise, previously our partner of the year, and also Tanya Tipman from Consolidate. And all three of you have utterly embraced that fact that a key element in being a lead advisor is to educate. And you really see a huge role, like a formal role in what you do is to educate your clients.
Definitely.
And you've got to tell us a little bit more about that. You've got some pretty exciting and structured plans around that. Are you happy to share that, or is that intellectual property that, about the event and the curriculum you're putting together?
Yeah, I can talk about that for sure. Yes, I've been doing a course in the United States now for about 4 or 5 months. I've got about 6 to go. It all came out of me implementing Infusionsoft into our business. And as you know, MC went to Icon with you last year, and I signed up to use 6th Division to implement Infusionsoft for us. Yeah. Anyway, they invited me back to do a year-long course on their small business success framework that they built. Now, the guy who I met over there, Brad, is probably one of the smartest guys I know. Very smart family, in actual fact. I didn't realise till last visit his brothers actually own Infusionsoft.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, it's a $300 million company. So I've gone over to learn their framework, and I'm also a member of Mindshop. So I've told them some of their tools, and I'm putting together a program next year that I'm selling to clients for a year-long program for about $18,000 a year per customer. We work together for a year full on automating and growing their business.
Fantastic. Now, for those who are new to the phrase marketing automation, we ran a masterclass on that you came along to. We introduced you to Infusionsoft. We use Infusionsoft ourselves. But a quick cautionary piece of advice to everyone. Don't take from this conversation right now, we should go out and implement Infusionsoft. It totally depends where your business is in its evolution. And there are other tools in the marketing automation space that are utterly valid as well, tools like ActiveCampaign. But that's one of the things that we advise firms around is, even though we describe what we do as marketing for accountants, it's really marketing and innovation. But that's too much to say as a core message. So with the Infusionsoft, share with everyone, Matt, what are you excited about in the implementation of a platform that can automate communication with your prospective clients, your marketplace, and also existing clients? What do you see happening?
At the moment, I'm only using it for our existing clients, MC, as phase one, because there's a lot to do. And what I've done inside Infusionsoft, you can build tags. So I've built tags on what services they buy off us and what industries they're involved in and age groups, etc. So I can actually send out newsletters to them that's much more targeted than generic. Because there's so much marketing information coming through, or any information coming through on everyone's email, it's really hard to be heard. So if you're not targeting a message to the right group of people, they're just going to delete you or not even read your article. And I do that myself. I use a little app called Unroll Me. All my marketing and rubbish subscriptions go on there, and then I go on there once a month or once every couple of weeks and see what I want to read, because I don't want that to clog up my system. And it's only the good ones that don't get into that Unroll Me system. So I'm very focused on taking that. I'll take it a step further as part of the advisory process, MC, that each quarter, 2 weeks before the end of the quarter, we do all our clients quarterly, and it's mandatory, otherwise you're not going to become a customer of ours. So 2 weeks before the end of the quarter, we send out an email to each of our clients saying, these are the 3 questions that we're going to talk about this quarter, which can go from wealth creation to your wills or growing your business, anything that you can think of. And they change every quarter. Then 3 weeks after in the month, they get another email to say, book an appointment, come and see us. Don't forget, we're going to talk about marketing inside your business, etc. So making this look like an advisory firm, not a accounting practice. And that all this is automated. It happens. I've built it out for the next 12 months of all the questions. We use Appointment Call, which links into Infusionsoft. So it's all automated. I don't have to ring up my client and say, come and see me. It just happens.
Fantastic. So just to paint a picture for everyone around that, Matt is using Infusionsoft, which gets described as a marketing automation platform, but really it's a business automation platform. So Matt's using it for operational processes to communicate with existing clients. But some of the take-home points for everyone here is what Matt's talking about with those tags. In Infusionsoft, there's the ability to have unlimited number of tags, which, to give it a metaphor, might be like a sticky note on a client file to say, they are a business owner, or they have an SMSF fund, or they're looking to grow their business, or they're 10 years out from retirement, whatever the attributes of that person might be. And that allows you to do what's called segmentation. So to segment your list means to break up your list into what is relevant to them and when will it be relevant. And then with the automation, you can build what they call campaigns in Infusionsoft, or automations and workflows, to say, right, for anyone who has that tag, at this specific time of the year, or at this specific time compared to when they last did whatever the task might have been, send them this email. And effectively, imagine if you had people in your firm poring over your client database and really slowing down and thinking, what's happening in this person's life right now? What should we be talking to them about, where they're headed now and this time of year? And they then thought through it and then sent an email out. Well, Infusionsoft effectively gives you a team like that, but the software is doing it for you 24/7 while you sleep, once you build it. It's no small task to build it, though, is it, Matt?
It takes a long time. We're only wouldn't even be halfway through the journey. And then obviously we want to go to our marketplace and advertise using lead pages on Facebook. That's something that we're going to work on for next year once we finalise our avatars,
Right.
which Tanya Tipman does a great avatar scenario. So we're working on ours at the moment just to make our offering and our message even tighter again.
So in my interview with Consolidate, so Tanya was in it, and also Rebecca, from who's in charge of their business development at Consolidate, we shared in detail their buyer personas. So Matt, everyone there, Matt just used the term avatar, which is the latest term for what traditionally has been known as buyer personas, which is a very clear description of an imaginary ideal client type. So have a look on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/practiceparadox, or just go to our blog where we have a blog post and you can watch the recording of that. That was a real turning point for Consolidate because it gives you clarity about who you're talking to and therefore how you should be communicating, what topics, what words, phrases, who you're trying to relate to, rather than try to relate to every man, woman, and their dog. Okay, so you're doing some really exciting things with that automation side of things. What else are you doing around technology? Because I know you're a bit of a propeller head, and
not as bad as UMC. You call half the group sometimes.
I remember after some consultations you said, I'm not sure if I'm excited or I've got a headache, because we covered a lot of different tools, but you self-confessed, like many of us, can sometimes suffer from bright, shiny object syndrome. But now you're getting to the point where you're getting really focused and
we're getting actually rid of some tools as well, MC, that aren't giving a good return on investment. I guess my favourite tool at the moment, though, you're going to laugh, is called Notability. Okay. We use iPad Pros for our meetings now. Obviously, we write all our notes down in Notability, and then we sync it back up into Box in the cloud as our client notes.
Fantastic.
Saving us a bucket load of time, and it's awesome.
Brilliant. So Notability, you can handwrite onto the screen or you can type. What do you guys tend to do in Notability?
I prefer to write, so I just write it in Notability as we go along.
Handwrite, yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, handwrite using the Apple Pen, whatever they call it, pencil. And after the meeting, we just sync it back up into the cloud via Box.
Just great knowledge sharing, as opposed to a lot of firms where the notes from the meeting that happened last Tuesday with that client or prospective client are still sitting in their little file notepad that they're carrying around. Whereas you guys instantly centrally sharing it with the whole team. Yeah,
that's right. And it goes up in the Box in the public folder that we share with our customers. So
tell us, let's go into the app side of things now, because it really is important. Before Matt talked about mindset, you got to shift your mindset, and we're big on helping people understand where they need to shift their mindset to grow their business. But you need skills, but you do need systems and tools. You need all of them, but software on their own won't solve anything unless you've got the mindset and the skills. But let's talk tools and systems. Practice Ignition.
Okay. You want me to go through those?
Yeah, and tell a story about, because it can be frustrating for some people when they first start with Practice Ignition until they get clarity on how they're going to define and price the services.
Practice Ignition, from an admin point of view, is an awesome program. We've built all our services that we offer around that, that ways you work, or ways we advise you diagram. They're all built in Practice Ignition.
So explain to someone who might not be aware. I'm not aware of what Practice Ignition is, but it's pretty unique tool. What does Practice Ignition do?
Practice Ignition is our fee engagement for the client that we roll over every 12 months. So we have every client on a retainer paying monthly. Well, probably 90% of them, actually. There's a few on completion. So we build out our services in that. We say this is what the client agrees to do in May, June for the following year. We send out an engagement letter then via Practice Ignition. They sign off on it electronically, put in their payment details, and it's sit and forget for the next 12 months. I don't want to be doing admin in my own business because I want to be practicing what I preach.
I'll tell you what, hats off to Guy Pearson and the Practice Ignition team. They've essentially invented a new category of software that didn't exist before they built Practice Ignition. But one of the things I love, and by the way, guys, if you're new to Practice Ignition, we interviewed Ben Walker from Inspire CA, Fast Growth Award-winning firm in Brisbane, another graduate of Paradox's academy, marketing academy. And on our YouTube channel, there's a video of that webinar that's called The New Way of Doing Proposals and Engagements. And how cool is it that if you want to, you can actually collaboratively in real time scope up the services that you're going to do with a prospective client in the meeting. You don't have to sort of go away and do a proposal and sharpen your pencil, because if you've got all of your services specified properly in practice ignition, how fast is it to do a proposal?
And I think you're missing a key element too, MC, which you taught me, is how you price it. So it's all price. So if, there's pricing levels depending what services you get off us. So it's no plucking a figure out of the air. It's all set. So it doesn't matter who prices in our business. Everyone should price it the same way.
I agree. Now, I'm more than happy to have public arguments with Ron Baker, and I have one almost every second or third week in LinkedIn. Ron Baker from VeraSage Institute has certain philosophies that he teaches around pricing, and I agree with half of them, and I strongly disagree with the other half. He tells people to throw out their timesheets, and we say, well, it depends why you're throwing them out. They can still be useful, but they are not a pricing mechanism, that's for sure. But he says price the customer, not the service, which is code for price each customer differently and get as much as you can from each customer. I'm sorry, but even though that's possible, I just don't agree with that. That's what car salespeople are hated for. I think customers, and let's face it, whatever you call your clients, members, we're all customers, right? You like to know that you're paying the same as the previous guy and the next guy, don't you?
Exactly.
Just transparent.
Exactly.
So value pricing, one of the good things about practice ignition, you can value price services, so fixed price, but never use the word fixed. Everyone has so many problems attached to the word fixed, but agreed value up front. But you can, if you want, have some elements that are related to time if you think it's going to be hard to predict. Do you have any mixture between, Matt, agreed, fixed pricing and any that are variable based on, let's say, time?
Not too many, I've got to say, MC. We have a few jobs we do on completion, but not very many at all. We're trying to avoid that.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. If you get 90% or more of what you do on agreed value, and you are tracking your profitability, because in the past there's been an inverse relationship between firms. This is data that I saw in the Good, Bad, Ugly years ago now, but there was an inverse relationship back then between firms that did a lot of fixed price agreements, fixed, and their profitability. And we know the reason for that is scope creep and not educating clients about scope, telling them what happens when outside scope items come up, and then, doing that variation and pricing it. So people would end up fixing their price. The clients have in their mind that they've got fixed price or fixed fee all year, and then they overservice the client. So that's why we think it's important to track time. Maybe not always, but even just spot checks throughout the year. I know Steph Hines at GrowthWise, she'll occasionally get the team to do some little spot checks to make sure, is that service being profitably delivered?
Yep.
Doesn't have to be year round at all. So Matt, we'll go to Q&A shortly for people. So reminder to you, Isabel, and the Paradox team, that later on we'll be getting you to share any questions that have come through, because due to a little technical issue, I can't see them at the moment. So Matt, let's recount, in terms of marketing and strategy, the things that Paradox have done in supporting you over the last few years to take you from being frustrated that you're doing mainly compliance to now triple the value, doing lots of advisory, having fun. Was we helped you come up with a new name, new logo, new colours, new tagline for that. So that's the branding.
Yep.
And everyone, you've got to look good. We had say there's three boxes everyone needs to tick if you want to stand out in your market. You've got to look great, you've got to sound great, and lastly, you've got to be great. So if you don't look great, you could be doing blogging and social media, you'll still look like the person who turned up in the crumpled cheap suit, if any of you still wear suits. So you've got to look great. So we helped you with tick the look great. We're also about to redo your website, I believe, into the more modern approach that we're helping firms do with WordPress. But then the next part after look great is sound great, which is your content. So what are some of the things we've done in the past and currently around the content side of things? And what do you do in-house versus what we support you with?
Well, up to recently, you did probably nearly all of it for us. And as we've tightly aligned and picked what industries we want to work in, we're sort of bringing it back in-house, doing the draft and flicking it over to you guys to polish it up and release it. I mean, the great one was that waste audit, MC, that you polished up for us. It made the #1 page on Google on waste audits in business, which I thought was pretty fantastic.
Okay.
So that's going to be our key focus for next year, is doing more of that. And that's one of the reasons we're redoing our website now, because we're actually going to put some of the avatar type industries on our website. And then using a little software program called ConvertFlow, they'll have offers come out depending on what page they click on.
Holy cow. ConvertFlow is it's a mind spin. We won't go down that right now, but just on those services, to explain to everyone what Matt was just saying, with that waste audit, a great service that Matt provides, his firm provides to small businesses, is a waste audit, because I think a lot of business owners get so busy they don't realise that they're wasting money on maybe underutilised or unused subscriptions, or they're overpaying for certain suppliers and telecommunication, internet, whatever it might be. So Matt did a draft article as part of our blog article service where you've got two choices. Initially, what Matt's firm did is just picked pre-written articles off the shelf that we have available, and that's a valid place to start. But now that Matt has very clear target markets, Matt's sending us rough drafts of articles that we then SEO, give a great headline, great image, put up in your blog post, promote it on social media. And everyone, that's what works in blogging, is SEO'd specific topic blog posts that you then promote in social media on a recurring basis. So that's the I love that article, and I remember the image was really cool as well with the industrial bins, but one big yellow. Anyway, so that's worked well for you, and you ranked well in Google for that. What are some of the other things? We were doing social media publishing for you, but now you use our Paradox Social app, but you're doing a lot of your own social media memes and things, aren't you, using Canva? It's integrated to that app.
Correct. We're using that as well. And what we're trying to do is marketing is too generic out there, so we're working really hard on being targeted. So, and you've helped us along the way of saying, have you considered this? Have you considered this for our target market? And that's so important. Looking at and that's back to the avatar, the pain points, their aspirations, and all that type of stuff. And using that feature benefit page, and I'll keep harping on it, but that's how you can really hone your message in so your customer can understand it. We talk too much accountant speak.
Absolutely. Absolutely. A quick tip for everyone around different providers to the accounting profession in the marketing space. Number one, don't subscribe to email newsletter services that have dry technical information about tax rulings and tax determinations and different deductions. The news for you is your clients don't want to read that stuff. They assume they're paying you money, and you're going to make sure that, the I's are being dotted, the T's are being crossed. So throw that stuff out. It's rubbish. From a marketing perspective, it's rubbish. Secondly, don't subscribe to an ex-business partner of mine, very well-known business coach that, Matt, you also know. They have a service that blows my mind that it even exists, which is they will send out an email newsletter for you that has generic content. It's the same content for everyone who subscribes to it. That's bad for starters. Then the links to read the full articles, send the person who just clicked the link to their website. The purpose of your social media, everyone, and the purpose of your email newsletter is to drive traffic back to your own website. So that is so flawed that anyone subscribing to a service like that, frankly, just doesn't know what they don't know, which is why we focus on education. People sometimes describe what we teach accountants and advisors to do as a safety net, or sometimes an insurance policy that helps you stop wasting money on areas of marketing that you might be spending that are just a waste of time. So that's why, Matt, Steph, Consolidate, the people we've interviewed over the last month or so, they attend our webinars as part of the Modern Marketing Academy. They come to Masterclass. And before we go into Q&A, Matt, I just want to let everyone know that today is their last chance to get tickets for Masterclass. So it's on 21 and 22. It's a Monday, Tuesday in November, just over a week's time. And you will leave with a one-page plan, a unique one-page plan model for a marketing machine for your business for next year. And frankly, I don't think you will ever have as much clarity or structure around marketing as to what you have. So write down that promo code there. It's one word, it's all caps, last chance. And when you click through to buy your tickets, you can adjust the number of tickets you want and click apply. But there's a little field, bottom right-hand corner, that says promo code. Just type in last chance and click apply, and that will take $150 per ticket off your Masterclass tickets. But I do need to let you know, everyone, that will expire today. That'll expire at close of business today, so 6 p.m. Sydney, Melbourne time, and 5 p.m. Brisbane time. Other time zones, you do the math. And the framework that you're going to get is a framework that is the only one on the planet that has interpreted the very latest in what's happening in marketing and worked out how does this actually apply, because not all the things you read about marketing apply to your professional services business. Some of them are just too retail-y or too hypey, just not appropriate for selling services. So this model will show you how you can get a steady stream of inbound inquiries to your business and grow without even trying, because this style of marketing will also increase the referrals and word of mouth that you get. So when you go to practiceparadox.com.au/masterclass, you can read about the agenda, what we're covering on day 1 and day 2. We're doing some beer storming at the end of day 1. On the Monday night, there's a dinner on the Monday night that's optional for you to attend. But if a couple of you are coming, you're each going to save $150 on your tickets. It's certainly paid for the dinner. So members pay $8.97 full price, normal price $9.97. So if you're a member, which means you have a subscription with Paradox, so that might be our article service or the Academy or social media updates or SEO, click the members orange button. If you're not yet subscribing to anything with Paradox, click the other button, the normal price, the grey one, and you'll go through to the area where you can enter the promo code. All right, so there are the details. I'll leave them on screen. Matt, another question that's come through that people are wondering about is, what are some of the other apps? Everyone always loves app shares. What are some of the other apps that you're using in your business that you weren't using, say, a year or so ago that you're loving?
Slack. So we use Slack
for
our internal communication. That's our internal communication tool inside the office, and it's also the area where we put ideas or pain points that we're hearing from our customers, so we're putting up there as problems to solve in the future. So it's and then we can go and search all those different pain points. Or we also use, waking up Slack is you can have different channels, so you can click on different channels and you can list down your 0 pain points, customer pain points, and all that type of stuff. So you know what to talk to your customers about or what to solve.
So on that, for everyone, Slack, we use it at Paradox. I know Tanya and Rebecca mentioned that they use it at Consolidate. I think probably Steph uses it as well at Growthwise. It's not an equivalent.
Yeah,
we used to use one called HipChat by Atlassian, which was kind of equivalent. Microsoft, very interestingly, Microsoft has just released something they're calling Teams, which is to compete head-on with Slack. Slack's been the fastest growing app of any type in business over the last couple of years. But I remember years ago they acquired Yammer, and we'd evaluated Yammer, and I tweeted out to them, even though back then I know Zero used Yammer, I said, what are you doing getting Yammer? Yammer's rubbish, because it wasn't real time, the chat. So Slack will eliminate all of your internal email communication, won't it? So it'll clear up email to be more about actionable items from people outside your organization. So the other good thing about Slack, we've got team members all around the world at Paradox, and it makes it really easy if you've got remote team members, even if they're in your area but working from home. Like, it's so quick and easy, isn't it, Matt, to just share information, even files and images, and you can even have fun with it. So what else? Are you guys using, it was called Practice IQ, and it's renamed itself to Carbon with a K. Are you using Carbon?
Yes.
Tell us about that one.
Yes, we are, definitely are. Yeah, so that controls all our workflow, and all our checklists are built into that, and it's getting better and better and better, I've got to say. So we do all our email communicating with our customers through Carbon now as well, not using Gmail anymore. And then when work comes in, we can assign out of our emails across to any one of the teams. We use to-do lists quite a lot in there as well. So if one of the team wants me to do something, they just flick across a item for me to do. But the best thing is controlling our workflow. So because what I'm finding now, because data is so instantaneous that we're having peaks and troughs, so we're trying to manage that the best way we can. So that's why we're using Carbon.
I think Carbon's a bit like Practice Ignition, not in what it does, but it's a game changer. It's really reinventing the way that way email should be managed, centralized inbox. I wrote an article on this on Sholto McPherson's blog that's now called Digital First. It used to be called Box Free IT years ago, about the death of email and how email, if you're using traditional email, everyone, where you don't have shared inboxes and each person's inbox is a little silo of information, you've got so many risks facing your business. And a couple of people ridiculed me for that article, going, what are you talking about? You're off with the fairies again. Well, it's happening, everyone. If you're not using a shared inbox tool like Carbon or Help Scout or Hiver, you are at a disadvantage to those that do. All right.
Now, we have several questions for Matt here.
Okay, great. Thanks, Isabel.
Okay. All right. From Eleanor. Where do you keep your central database and do things like Practice Ignition link into that database? That's for Matt.
The database, that's the only pain point we've got. Guy about that, and it is coming in the next 12 months, so it will link across.
So what's the answer to what you consider your main database?
Our main database, we have 3 of them at the moment, unfortunately. So we have Zero Tax, we have Infusionsoft, and we have Carbon. When we onboard our customer, we'll set up at the same time. I know Zero Tax will link with Carbon at some point, and I've been talking to Guy from Practice Ignition about linking it into Infusionsoft and Carbon, which I know that's coming at some point.
Yeah, brilliant. And that's one
so
of the
they will be integrated. They're not. But we have a ruthless girl that works at the front desk for us that makes sure it's all up to date. So she's allowed to boss me around and make sure we get it right, because I need that.
And everyone, if you're not using Zapier, zapier.com, you should be, because it's so easy to actually have actions like, for example, when people subscribe for us to a webinar, register for a webinar in Zoom, it automatically, we create a little zap. You don't have to know how to write a line of code, and that person gets added into our main database, which is Infusionsoft, and they get tagged as a registrant for this webinar. And you can do the same things between Xero and Infusionsoft and Practice Ignition, any app with an open API. Okay, oh, by the way, Isabel, before you share the next question, I just noticed that in some chat, the promo code was being shared as last chance without the all caps. Last chance is got to be in all capital letters, one word, to get that discount, everyone. Okay, Isabel, next question.
Okay. Sorry about that, wrong promo code, but yeah, so all caps, last chance. All right, another one for Matt from Deborah. Can Matt give us an idea of what he has spent dollar-wise and time-wise to get to where he is?
Time-wise, I haven't spent enough, so it's taken too long. Dollar-wise, we subscribe to all of MC's services, so that's what, $9.90 a month, I think that is. So that's what we've spent on that. Time-wise, you're going to smile at me. I actually got my 16-year-old son in and said, because I drafted all the things I want to write about, and I got him to build it in Canva and put it out via that. What's the name of that MC, your Practice Implementer, whatever it's.
Well, you guys are subscribing to Paradox Social, which is our social media management app that integrates.
And he places all that on there for us. Moving forward, though, I want to be spending at least 1 day a week on marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And doing strategic stuff for my own business.
Brilliant. The most successful businesses that I've consulted to over the years have had a common trait that they have 1 day a week where they work on the business away from the business. And the main things they work on are marketing and systems.
And the reason I'm doing that too, MC, to add to that, is that our clients' businesses are changing just as quick as ours. So I'm doing a lot of research and reading in that time as well. So when I go to the next meeting, I've got some new ideas for these guys as well.
Fantastic. And, earlier, Matt, you mentioned that you had a meeting with a client recently, and it's a common scenario where, the discussion around financials might be the first 5 or 10 minutes, and the next 50 minutes relates to other areas, such as KPIs that are lead indicators that are marketing related. And that's the osmosis effect and the rub-off effect that Paradox members get, that when you understand the marketing machine model, you can talk to any business owner about it, and their eyebrows will go up and think, wow, you're actually talking to me about something relevant to growing my business.
Exactly. And we give access on Box, the financials, to the customer before they even come to our office anyway. So they can look at it before we have our meeting. But on average, I'm bringing a lot of the team into these meetings now to learn what I'm doing, and I think they're surprised I'm spending 5 to 10 minutes on financials, and the rest of the time is on everything else. When 10 years ago, it was an hour on financials and nothing on anything else.
Yeah. Well, imagine a football or any sporting coach at the end of a game draining onto the team for an hour about the scoreboard. The scoreboard's done. It's moving on about what are you going to do differently in the coming week, coming month.
I've just brought up the Q&A myself, and Eleanor had a good question. How did you get your clients to listen to your advisory services? And that's a real mindset one from an accountant's point of view. You've got to, and the way I approached it was listen to your clients, find out their pain points and solve them. And then they'll listen to you as an advisor. But if you just walk in and say, I'm going to build you a $10 million empire, they're going to laugh in your face. Listen. Write down all their pain points and have a solution. You got credibility. And it is actually easier new clients as opposed to existing clients to sell the advisory work.
There's some excellent advice.
Did my internet cut out then, or was it okay? Yep.
Oh, it got a little choppy for a moment or so. But that's excellent advice. Now, everyone, before Matt was talking about tags and your database, and then I talked about segmenting, there's a great book called Ask, A-S-K, by Ryan Levesque. That's the sort of methodology that we help people implement. There are so many cool tools. If you're not polling and surveying your clients on a regular basis, that is a very leveraged way of listening. So we're not saying don't listen face to face, but there's so many ways you can find out what are your clients' pain points, and they will tell you the services to create and deliver and design, and then we can help you design them so that they're scalable. Next question, Matt, if you can see Q&A, you can pick one, or Isabel, if you want to share one. We've got about a minute left.
Yes, we have one from Antoinette for Matt again. How do you educate old clients to your new ways you work with them? Good question.
Via stories. You tell them a story that relates to them. That's how I do it. So you talk about their own business and you sell each stage of the process as if it's applying to their business. You've got to be authentic and make them listen, make it relevant to them.
Perfect. So and to give people some examples of how you convey that story, yes, in face-to-face meetings, but in your blog articles that you also email to your clients, in your events, in your videos, in your webinars. That's why marketing is all about education and stories. Most accountants and advisors tend to explain things logically and in an abstract fashion. You're best off explaining things with stories and metaphors, analogies, case studies that they can relate to. So that's a great question, great answer. Thanks, Matt. One more question?
Yes, another question from Elizabeth for Matt. Do you think the forthcoming Zero HQ is going to replace the need for carbon?
I haven't had a great look at Zero HQ, but I think it shows more about apps and all that type of stuff that your customers are using. If that's the case, my answer is no, because we build all our checklists of what we're doing with our clients inside of Carbon, and that's how we run our business.
Okay, great. And look, we've probably got time for another question, if there's one there, Isabel.
Yes, from Joe Hannell. Which timesheet app do they use for you, Matt, again?
Yeah, at the moment, we're just using the one in Practice Studio, Workflow Max. But what we want to do, we're going to move to Gel, and we're going to value price out of that. So, if I use a 12 grand client and we're doing the quality work, we've got 4 hours to do that client, we're going to say each day, I did 4 hours productive time that day. So eventually
Gel is spelled J-E-L-L. Yeah.
It links into Slack as well. So what we do in Gel each day, just say, no, we put in what jobs that we're going to be working on, big picture type stuff. So because I'm in a lot of meetings and all over the place, that I know roughly what everyone's up to. Because often you got to juggle work around the office. Even though everyone has their set clients they work on, every so often we juggle things around so we can get things done quickly.
Fantastic. And some other tools. The best timesheet app for you will depend on your existing app ecosystem, but Harvest is very good. Toggle, T-O-G-G-L, no E on the end, is an excellent app as well. But it all depends why you're doing timesheeting as to which is the best app. So we're happy to advise people on that as well. All right, well, we should wrap. We've gone a little bit over time. Matt, on behalf of everyone, I'd like to thank you for taking an hour out of an hour and a half, really. Had to log in early.
No problem.
Out of your busy day to share with us the journey that you've had over the last few years.
If anyone's got any other questions, just email me at matt@adviseaccountants.com.au and I'm happy to answer those.
Oh, that's incredibly generous of you, Matt. So matt@adviseaccountants.com.au.
Yep.
An easier way is over a beer at Masterclass as well. So clearly we want everyone who's on this webinar to come to Masterclass, and I can guarantee you will come out a changed business person in terms of knowing how to grow. So you've got until close of business today to use that last chance discount, 150 off. Ticket sales will close Monday, close of business, but you won't get that discount on Monday. All right, thanks again, Matt. Can't wait to have a beer and do some beer stomach Masterclass in just over a week's time. Thanks everyone for joining today, and we'll see you for our next webinar online sometime soon. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.